quick demo of my automatic chicken door opener. Instructions pretty simple. It's basically there's a little groove in between made out of some pine that the door glides in, so it's basically frictionless. It's tied together some string up to a DC motor that's just on there with a kind of mount. We have two sensors, one for the top, one for the bottom, that will tell me if the door is opened or closed. This is a little magnet that rides on the door, and these are just simple reed switches. It goes up to a Raspberry Pi. It's an A+, and there's this little hat on top of it with the circuit. There's an H-bridge IC which drives the DC motor, two buttons for manual control, an LED to tell me what mode it's in, and this is just a little connector board so that I can disconnect the door from the circuit so that I can bring the circuit back inside if I want to tweak it or upgrade it or change it. Right now it's actually being powered by two sources. It has the Raspberry Pi USB plug in it, which provides the protection for the Raspberry Pi so I don't fry it. And there's the 12-volt power supply for the DC motor. Ideally, we only need one power supply, but I'll have to build one out to downstep the 12 volts down to 5 volts that the Raspberry Pi requires. So right now it's in auto mode, which means that it opens and closes based on the sunset and sunrise. But if for some reason I want to clean it or open it, I simply hold down one of these buttons for 2 seconds. The LED will start to blink, and now it's in manual mode. When it's in manual mode, I can use these buttons. This one's up, this one's down, and either button will stop it. So I can hit down and the door will go down. I can stop it, and I can hit up and the door will stop. So this allows me to close it if I want to clean it and keep the chickens out, or permanently keep it open. Right now I have it set to an hour. So what will happen is it will stay in manual mode for an hour. The blinking light tells you it's in manual mode, and it'll automatically turn back into auto mode. And this is just so that if I forget to convert it back to auto mode, I don't have to worry about it not shutting at night. These can obviously be tweaked, but if you want to just automatically put it back into auto mode, hold it again for 2 seconds, and it goes back into auto mode. And since it was open a little bit, it says the door should be open based on time, which is because it's daylight. So it says opening door, and then top sensor was triggered, and it stops the door, and now it tells me the door is open. So that's the basic circuit and design. It's relatively straightforward. I think all these parts together was about $60 so far. I'm currently working on adding some temperature sensors. There's a humidity temperature sensor there that I'm going to add. Here's one that I plan on putting on the outside of the coop. And then here's an example of a waterproof one that I'm going to put in the water, since it does get cold here. I want to make sure it doesn't freeze.